So now we talked about a tax on producers. What about taxes on consumers? So look at the equilibrium price of cigarettes in this market is $4, but we know that secondhand smoke leads to lung cancer, and the government would like to prevent smoking by levying a tax. So let's assume a per unit tax of $2 is issued on consumers. This causes demand to decrease. So just like when we had a tax on suppliers, the supply curve increased. Now we're going to have the demand curve decrease based on the tax of $2. We're just going to shift this demand curve down $2 at each quantity. So looking at our new graph, the equilibrium price was $4, a per unit tax of $2 issued on the consumers. What is the new equilibrium price and quantity? The correct answer would be A. We have a price of $3.50 at our new equilibrium and a quantity of 3 1/4 cigarettes sold. Let's look into this a little bit further. A per unit tax of $2 is issued on consumers, which causes demand to decrease. What is our new equilibrium price and quantity? Our demand shifted down by $2 at each point. So our old equilibrium price and quantity was 4 units sold at $4 a piece. We can see the consumer surplus and producer surplus over here. And now we have this new market with a new equilibrium price and a new equilibrium quantity over here. So if we think about taxes, a tax on producers is going to decrease our supply, which is going to increase our price and decrease our quantity. Right, we're going to go from this dark blue to the light blue. That's going to cause our new equilibrium to have a lower quantity and a higher price. A tax on consumers is going to decrease demand. So instead of increasing supply, we're now decreasing demand on consumers. This decreases the price and decreases quantity. So if we tax consumers, we're going to go from this equilibrium to this equilibrium, decreasing both price and quantity. Back to our cigarettes example, a per unit tax of $2 is issued on consumers, which leads to a decrease in demand. Now, how does this affect consumer surplus and producer surplus? So we can see over here, it's real simple. We have the two triangles, one for consumer surplus and one for producer surplus. But in our new equilibrium, we want to know what is consumer surplus, what is producer surplus, and what is our tax revenue. In the picture, we can see that, hey, our orange triangle over here is smaller than the orange triangle is over here. And our blue triangle over here is smaller than our blue triangle in the same spot over here. We now have this green area that is our tax revenue and this gray triangle for our deadweight loss. So we can calculate each of those just like we did for our tax on producers. So here we're calculating the consumer surplus. It's going to be 1/2 the base times the height area of a triangle. So 1/2, 12 minus 5.5 times 3.25, which gives us this number. Producer surplus is the area of this blue triangle. So 3.5 minus 0 times 3.25, which will give us this number, a little bit less than 6. Our tax revenue is the area of this green rectangle here, or 6.5. Our deadweight loss is the area of this gray triangle here. So we have 5.5 minus 3.5 times 4 minus 3.25. So half of that will give us the area of this triangle, or 0.75. You should now know how to calculate consumer surplus, producer surplus, tax revenue, and deadweight loss for a per unit tax on either producers or suppliers, or I could give you a combination of both.